I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to rock your socks off with an incredible, easy and delicious cupcake recipe. We are making my salted caramel cupcakes, or my salted caramel chocolate cupcakes, if you will. They are so easy to make. I know there's a lot of variations of this recipe out there, but I really feel like mine is the easiest one. And it's something that you can definitely put together in the middle of the week if you have got some friends coming over, or for a really lovely treat on the weekend, especially with Halloween coming soon. You definitely need to have a cool cupcake to serve to your guests, and this is definitely the one. The ingredients for the base itself for the cupcake are very few, and they're very basic ingredients. We're going to start with some all-purpose flour, some cocoa powder, instant espresso powder, baking powder, salt, granulated sugar, egg, some soft butter, softened at room temperature, unsalted butter, some whole milk, and vanilla extract. Now what this is really is basically a twist on my just traditional chocolate cupcake that I made here a couple years ago. This is my current chocolate cupcake recipe, and I mean this recipe is really easy. Let me get started by telling you to turn your oven on to 350, get a muffin tin, line it with liners, get that set and out of the way. Now you know me, you know I don't like sifting, but when it comes to cocoa, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, because especially if it's a new container of cocoa powder, there's gonna be a lot of lumps in there. So just take all your dry ingredients and just sift them together into a larger bowl. And you see all those rubbles? I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just powder kind of clumps up a little bit. I just take my spatula and I run it down there. And now that's done and out of the way. How hard was that? Now, into a separate bowl. You can do this in a large mixer with a handheld mixer if you want. I haven't worked out today, so I'm using my, this is my opportunity to use my upper body and work out a little. I'm going to take my butter and my sugar. Not too much butter because it really isn't necessary. And just using my spatula, I'm just going to slowly kind of mush things together until I kind of mix the sugar and the butter together as much as I can. This is what your mixture should look like, almost like wet sand. It's not going to be super creamy because you don't have enough butter to really make it super creamy. But now we're going to add in the egg, and I'm going to start with my spatula, and then I'm going to turn to my whisk. Now, when you kind of see this recipe be put together, you'll think to yourself, wow, that's really simple and easy, because we're not making, oops, well, that goes some of my egg. We're not making like a caramel buttercream or anything like that. We're just going to keep things really easy, only because, you know me, that's easy as my middle name. So I'm just going to whip this up. I'm going to add in a splash of vanilla, because even though it's chocolate, I like to add a little bit of vanilla. I'm pretty sure I should start investing in some stock for vanilla extract, because I'd be making a buck or two considering how much I use it and buy it. So just mix it together until it's combined. Add in my whole milk. Now don't worry if this looks like it splits, because we know that happens all the time. As soon as you add your dry ingredients, all will be well with the world. And here we go. Now you just want to mix your ingredients enough to incorporate them and get a really just lovely, smooth, creamy mixture. But you don't want to mix it too much so that it develops the gluten in the flour and makes them really tough. That looks perfect. What I'm going to do really quickly, I almost thought I got chocolate on me. I'm going to take my spatula, just run it along the sides. I just want to make sure everything is well incorporated. And it definitely is. And then take my trusty handy dandy ice cream scoop and divide my batter evenly among my little liners. And that is the base. Perfect. We've got 12 perfect amount, nothing wasted, good to go. These are going to go into your preheated oven at 350 for about 18 to 20 minutes. The easiest way to know that they're done is you take a toothpick and you insert it into the center, and if it comes out clean with no wet batter on it, you know they're done. And if you don't have a toothpick on hand, use a dry piece of spaghetti or linguine, whatever floats your boat. And then it's crucial that you let them cool completely before we go ahead and frost them with a sweet whipped frosting. It's going to be delicious. My chocolate cupcakes baked for about 20 minutes, and I'll let them cool for a few hours. You need to make sure that they are completely cooled. Now, what you're gonna need to finish these off with is a really delicious sweetened homemade whipped cream and some caramel sauce along with some sea salt. Now, the caramel sauce, you can do one of two things. You can make my caramel sauce if you so choose. My recipe on laureninthekitchen.com, of course, and remember to leave a link down below for that video. And what you want to do, or you can use a store-bought, it's totally fine. And what you want to do is put it in a Ziploc bag. I find a Ziploc bag works best because it's nice, you know, a resealable bag, whatever it is, whatever brand. What I find this works best because I can just snip the very bottom myself, so it's easy, it's delicious, and that's where our caramel comes from. Now the salt comes from Fleur de Sel. Fleur de Sel is just a really delicious French sea salt that I feel is the absolute best to use when you are making something where you want the salt to be one of the star ingredients. In this case, I want the salt to be something special because there's a salty from this, and then the caramel and the sweetness just kind of complements each other really well. When I'm doing a salted caramel candy, I top it with this as well. So Fleur de Sel is my choice, but you can use any sea salt that you prefer to sprinkle on top, or if you don't want to do the whole salt thing, by all means leave it out. What I'm going to do, I've got some heavy whipping cream in this bowl. I'm just going to whisk this together until it's got nice soft peaks, and then I'll add in my confectioner's sugar, but I'll show you what it looks like once it's at the soft peak stage. You can see nice and soft, not stiff by any means. At this point, I'm going to add in my confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar. I'm going to whip this up until it's got nice stiff peaks, but stopping right then and there because I don't want to turn this into butter. So once it's nice and stiff, cut the brakes. All right, that's where I'm stopping right there. Now, these are going to be homemade cupcakes, but I want them to look good. So you want to make sure you get a nice, large, plain tip in either a bag like this, which is another resealable bag, or a piping bag, whatever you got. Because, you know, I want these to look good. I don't want people to think that I've taken 20 minutes to make cupcakes, because you have. But let me tell you, if they don't look appetizing, it's going to be a dead giveaway that you haven't taken a chance or time to make things look good. So, take your sweetened whipped cream, put it in your bag, piping bag, whatever you got. Then just squeeze it all to the corner where you have your tip. Let's see, trying to get rid of all the extra air. All right, perfect. And then just pipe these as desired, my friend. The world is your pickle. I don't like to do too much because the whipped cream is sweet, the caramel is sweet, the cake is sweet. You get my point. Then take your caramel, snip a little tiny bit of the bag. Your caramel is going to be really runny because that is caramel after all. And I just go back and forth. Last but not least, a small pinch of Fleur de Sel right on top. This makes all the difference in the world. You gotta trust me. They are gonna be fantastic. If you love sweet and salty like I do, sweet and salty is my absolute favorite. I mean, the childhood treat that I ate pretty much every night was Nutella on saltines, and they had to be the salted kind, otherwise I want nothing to do with it. Gotta be salty, salty, salty with the sweetness. Delicious. Okay, last one. I'm gonna go for this one right here. I'm not gonna tell you why. You'll find out for yourself. Oh. This is my idea of salted caramel cupcake. None of that complicated stuff, just the basics but done well. I'm going to go for the top bottom because it's nice and soft. Do that. You know what? If you were here right now, I'd slap you. I would. Out of excitement, of course. Incredible, delicious, easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. The blind monkey from the monkey jungle in Miami will probably do this. I hope you've enjoyed spending time with me. Head on all over to laureninthekitchen.com to make this recipe. If you do make this recipe, don't forget to tweet it to me, Facebook it, Instagram. All the links will be down below. I hope you've enjoyed spending time with me. I'm gonna go stuff my face, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Too much. Man, that's good.